right around now. This week, the scientists at MTV want you to check out their latest creation. PlayStation gets into the original content racket, and can the biggest threat to Hollywood really be popcorn? All that and so much more. This is That TV Show, episode 311.
You're listening to the podcast for TV geeks everywhere. You're listening to That TV Show with Jules Scott and Pat Crane.
That's me. I decided to go back to that. I don't know why. All right. Thank you so much for joining us from all around TV land. My name is Pat Crane. I am your host of the show. And Jules Scott is right over there. Hi, Jules.
Did you almost forget your name?
No.
Okay.
I know my name. I'm forgetting everything now. So
I know. Well,
totally
I'm
fine.
going to blame all of that dust that you've been kicking up around that abode of yours.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. I've been wearing the mask sometimes for
really?
cleaning.
You did actually switch to the mask?
Well, because the dust is trapped in the house because I can't open the windows because it's still cold outside.
Did it snow yesterday or today?
Yeah.
It snowed last night.
It's the end of March, and it is way too cold for the end of March. It's like 20 degrees out, I think, or less. I think it's supposed to get down to 10 tonight. It's the end of March. It should be 20, 30 degrees warmer than that.
Yuck.
I don't know. How you doing, Jules?
I'm good. We're after lamenting about the weather. Still, it's been a good week. I feel like everything is just, there's so much going on at one time, at any time. And so it's like, oh yeah, we have a show tonight. That's great. Let's go do a show tonight.
Feeling a little manic? It seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's good. I'm happy to be. I'm always happy to be busy. Unfortunately, that often means that I find time where I can find time to watch a show here or there. And thank goodness we have like assigned things to watch. Otherwise, I would just be like, whoop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And then forget it. The rest of the week, I'm, doing other things. But during the summer, I get that time where I can just kind of relax and start watching more TV.
Oh, that's always so nice, isn't it? And then I don't because I'm always outside.
I know. It's whatever. It's just, why do we do this?
I don't know. I don't know. What have you been up to this week as far as TV goes?
Well, remember how I mentioned that Marvel was doing a special about assembling a universe?
Mm-hmm.
I actually caught that this week.
Oh, cool.
It was pretty cool. And the nice thing is it actually taught me something. I didn't realize that they had done a bunch of short films for certain parts of the Marvel universe, continuing some of the off-thread stories.
Oh, really?
And I didn't even know that they had done this. But it was like assembling the actors again, like a whole segment about Agent Coulson,
right,
and backstory there. There's a scene at the end of The Incredible Hulk when Iron Man shows up as a cameo. Mm-hmm. And talks to, I think it's to the general. I never saw the Hulk. It's the only one I hadn't seen. So they kind of continued that thread with Robert Downey Jr. and the other guy. So I learned that this actually happened.
Yeah.
But they did a really good job with this on explaining how the universe has really intertwined itself and why it even got started in the first place to start to do the overlapping storylines. And I had fun. I had fun watching this. It was definitely like a big old like, hey, we're Marvel and we make cool movies.
Yeah.
But it was good to kind of see how that all came together.
And the Avengers just in general is just really cool for movie going stuff the last few years and Iron Man. I watched Iron Man 3 this week.
Oh, did you?
Finally, I know I'm behind the times, but I finally watched that and loved that movie. I mean, it wasn't maybe as great as the first one, but it was still a very solid movie, and it was so much better than Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 was just not.
That was bad.
Not great. Not great.
And I love the Iron Man series. But yeah 2 is blah. What they also kind of talked about too is how it's been shifting some of the character stories to a more darker place to lead up to the Avengers Age of Ultron side. Right. So everybody's going to have a little bit of a darker story right now.
That's kind of cool. I kind of like it when they go a little bit dark.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I mean, you don't need to stay on the happy side of things too much. I mean, we can get serious. We can get real We can go a little evil. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. So it was cool?
It was cool. I was happy I got a chance to see it, but it replaced Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week. They have the worst schedule on ABC right now for that show. It's literally a new episode, maybe another new episode, and then you got a 2 to 3 week hiatus, and then another couple of episodes, and then a 4-week hiatus. And, it's been really bad. They have to stretch it out. And I think that they compressed this season. They didn't do 22 episodes, but they've got to get it through May.
Right.
That scheduling is a nightmare, though. It's really, I'm really surprised they've been able to hold on to an audience.
Well, and this is why people like us have DVRs.
Yes.
I mean, really,
yes.
that is what it is. But I know that a lot of people watch live TV, and to those people, I'm like, get a DVR. Your life will be so much simpler. You won't have to figure out exactly when Marvel comes in and says, "Oh, we're doing a show." No, you'll just pick it up. And you just go, "Oh, I have a new show."
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I basically have to deal with the 11-year-old in my household who loves Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going, "What do you mean there is no new episode?" That kind of indignant, "What in the world is this bunk?"
Right.
So yeah. But Svensson just said in the chat room that there's going to be 7 in a row, 7 in a row, and Fate said about 8 in a row. They're starting next week. That is going to make everybody very happy. But that's going to take you right at the end to the end of the May season.
Right.
Next week.
Right on.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing. How about you?
Well, I have been comparing the differences between American Idol and The Voice this week.
Okay.
And there is a very clear winner in my book. Although I will give it up to American Idol because so far anyway, I have not seen any of those really bad weeks. Those because every week is a theme week for them. So
oh yeah.
So I'm trying to remember what the themes have been, but it's all been relevant music so far.
Yeah.
So a big thumbs up to American Idol for at least doing that. Now, if they could only get the talent there, that would be great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that these guys that are going through American Idol aren't good. They're good. They're just not superstars. I mean, there's maybe a couple that have potential. Maybe.
Yeah.
But they're just not showing it quite yet. It's like I was watching this one girl sing last week, and I cannot remember who it was, but I just remember looking at them going, it seems like they just want to go home at this point. It seems like she is not singing to stay there or to prove anything or to make it big in the industry. It's like, oh, you picked me? Great. I guess I have to go out on stage now.
That doesn't surprise me.
Because
it sounds like they go through such hell.
Yeah.
And, whereas you're talking about other shows that are focusing a lot more about building the artist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like they're trying to build the artist a little bit anyway, because Randy Jackson is back there and he is being a mentor to the kids anyway, to try to, help them along and do what he can to make sure that they're hitting the right, cues and trying to make sure that they are kind of act the part, I guess, a little bit better, and guide them along. But we don't necessarily see all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even the judges are trying to encourage them in all the right ways and not discourage them from singing, which is good because they are good, like I said. It's just that when you look at the differences between the artists on American Idol with the artists on The Voice is just blowing them out of the water.
Huh.
I mean, it is crazy the amount of talent that's on The Voice right now, at least in my opinion. And it's hard not to say that The Voice is just killing it. So, and American Idol is just looking not very relevant. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. They have like 13-year-old girls screaming in the audience, which is great. It's great. It's great. And anytime you can have 13-year-old girls screaming in the audience, that seems really great. Until you start listening to them and you go, really? What are you hearing here? That is,
you just think they're cute. That's what it is.
I guess.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know. So that's basically what I've been doing this week. That and wearing dust masks and stuff.
That sounds like a plan anybody would want to get on.
That is correct. And so now we're going to whisk ourselves away from this and go to the Hollywood Rewind. I want to rewind that. Hollywood Rewind. There we go. Okay. It's time to take a peek behind the curtain of what's been happening this week in Hollywood. And Jules, what's been going on?
Little bit of sad news this week. James Rebhorn, he is a character actor, appeared in over 100 films and television shows. You may know him from Homeland and White Collar. He passed away this week at age 65 of melanoma. And he is the guy. He is like the guy in a suit in everything he does. He is like the authority figure in a suit with the white hair. And
but he was always so nice. I mean, he was like the nice guy. He was always like the real guy.
He can play the bastard too, though.
Oh, sure. But I remember my favorite role of his that I remember him for is from The Game.
Okay. I've not seen The Game, actually.
Oh, you haven't seen The Game? Oh,
no.
You got to watch The Game.
Yeah?
If you had that movie is so incredible the first time that you watch it.
Yeah.
And then you watch it a second time and you're like, oh, you can't get that back. That first time of watching The Game. Michael Douglas. Oh, so good. Anyway, but he plays a major role in it. And he's just such a nice guy, such a real guy, and also I remember him from Independence Day.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He played defense secretary, I believe. So he was kind of the sniveling guy that got fired.
Authority figure in a suit. That's what he does.
Yeah. So he did that really well. And he was actually able to write his own, whatchamacallit?
Obituary.
Yeah, he was able to write his own obit that was sent to his church, and it was really nice. And it's got to be kind of weird, though.
Yeah, I found, like, if you can find it on tvguide.com. I got a chance to read it. It's really strange because you knew he wrote it, but he wrote it in the third person.
Yeah.
So it was very, he's talking about how he was a lucky man from day one. But it's like when you read it in the third person, it's like, well, somebody else wrote. No, you wrote this.
But it was still very sweet. It
was very touching.
And it was all about, the people that he surrounded him with himself with and about his family and all that kind of stuff. And so it was very sweet. And it's very sad to lose somebody that, I mean, he was only 65.
Right.
That's pretty young. So
yeah, so that was sad to see that this week.
Yeah, that was sad.
But you can get a little happiness in your life even tonight. I mean, this is Tuesday night, so you probably have already missed this. But we talked about Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge that premiered tonight on Sci-Fi at 9:00, which is when this show started.
We're competing with the Muppets?
I know. I mean, what's wrong with us? Well, technically, we're competing with the Muppets right now if you want to think about theaters around the country. So I don't think we need to worry about too much.
Well, that movie isn't doing so hot, I hear.
I know. I heard that too. But this show is a competition reality show for people who are going to be able to create creature designs for Jim Henson's Creature Shop and get judged, and people get kicked off the show and somebody wins.
Awesome.
Pretty easy.
Awesome. That sounds good. I do love the Muppets. I do.
I do too. I just as a side though, this new movie just didn't seem like it was anything I wanted to go see. I don't know. Just didn't drive me. I love the first one, the new movie that they made a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was great. I haven't seen the new one either, so I have no opinion of it other than I love the Muppets.
That's fair. You can love the Muppets. I'm sure you watched the Muppet Show as a kid.
Yes, Jules. I watched the Muppet Show as a kid every single week. I was in front of that damn TV.
Yeah,
my parents could not rip me away from it. It's time to light the lights, Dad. It's time to light the lights. Gotta light the lights. That's what I did.
Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot going on this week that was notable to watch. But if you want something interesting to come up and put on your schedule for the summer, I came across something this evening which I found pretty interesting. It's a show called The Quest on ABC. Mm-hmm. It's a reality show.
Okay.
But it is taking the contestants into an imaginative realm where there are ogres advancing in the woods, dragons are stirring, agents of a dark lord are infiltrating the keep. And the only thing that stands between peace and chaos are 12 very unlikely heroes.
Okay.
Basically, this is a fully immersive reality show where you're competing in a virtual universe.
So how are they doing the virtual stuff?
It looks like state-of-the-art projections, animatronics, prosthetics, and real-time motion capture and art direction. So I don't even know how they would do that in real time for the contestants.
So it's a reality show of Dungeons and Dragons? Like D&D. I mean, I'm talking like the role-playing game, you know? It's the dice rolling game.
Does your D&D game have animatronics?
Yeah, no, it does.
Really?
It really does. No, I mean, this is the Hollywood version of it, right? So,
okay, the Hollywood version of D&D.
Yeah, The Quest.
It's called The Quest.
The Quest, 12 unlikely heroes. And you have somebody playing the orc warrior. You have somebody playing the troll priest.
I don't know. You're shaking your head. I don't know how they would do this, but it's coming in June on ABC if you want to see it. So, this could be very interesting.
There is one other thing going on this week on TV.
What?
March Madness. Basketball. It's sports.
Okay.
It's sports.
Do you even watch basketball?
No, I don't watch basketball, but people watch basketball. This is like the hot time, right? So everybody's filled out their little sheets of who's going to win what, and it's all over the place right now.
No.
There were like in the first round 2 or 3 or I don't know how many different schools were knocked out like favorites, and everybody was pissed. That's all I know. And then I went, oh, everybody's mad. Oh yeah, it must be March Madness. That's why they call it March Madness, because
that's right. Everybody's mad.
The good schools dump out early, and then they're left with who's gonna win. I don't know. That's just my little take. Okay.
I have never done one of those, by the way. One of those pick'ems.
I have never won one of those. Oh. I have always picked them, but I've never won one.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I've never even come close. Horrible sports.
What's this sports thing? Let's talk TV.
Okay, let's do that.
Well, let's talk about tech.
Okay.
The news is like every single outlet that writes stuff about TV tech is writing about this story. Oh my gosh. Apple is in talks with U.S. cable provider Comcast to partner with them on their Apple TV device.
I like it so far.
Yeah.
I like it so far. So
go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you more. I mean, what's going on? What's the partnership? What's the deal?
Well, Comcast doesn't really have a streaming TV service, and Apple TV hasn't really come out the gates the way that it really wanted to. So they're talking about creating a streaming service that would use a set-top box and bypass Comcast broadband congestion to provide smooth video. There's a couple of things here. This is that whole net neutrality. Mm-hmm. That's been the net neutrality rulings that came out where it talked about being able to set your own rates as a provider.
Right.
This would actually bypass that. That's one thing.
Okay.
The other thing is that Netflix, their stock dropped nearly 8% after the announcement yesterday about this possible partnership. What do you think of all this?
Well, two behemoths, namely Apple and Comcast, getting together and making a little, baby project over here. It sounds cool to me. It sounds really cool, actually. But it would just be streaming TV, right? So it would be streaming like live TV to the Apple box. essentially.
Yeah, or it would be TV, movies, whatever. Yeah, everything.
Right, whatever is on cable at the moment.
Right.
So all the movie channels, all that kind of stuff. But you need to have Comcast, and you need to. So it would be. So with net neutrality, they're able to pump through all that video at a regular rate, and then they would say, "Oh, Netflix, by the way." They're just like slow their stuff way down to make up for it. Is that the deal?
Yep, that is it. Because Netflix already had to work with Comcast in order for them to not slow down their internet service for their providers for the Netflix service. So now if Apple is in partner with Comcast for that streaming service, Netflix is in trouble.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know. This feels really, really diabolical to me.
Well, and this kind of goes back to the whole Wild West analogy that we've been using for weeks and weeks and weeks now.
I know.
We've been using it for so long. And it's kind of amazing to see how quickly these deals are getting made, or at least being talked about in the news. And here is yet another one: the Apple TV getting together with Comcast. And
yeah. And so, okay, let me think about this for just a second, because it worries me. If you're talking about Comcast as a cable television provider, they're not satellite, they're cable.
Yeah.
And then you have Apple, which has been part of the non-cable world. So it is just the apps that you can stream things through, which would be the iTunes app and Netflix and all of the other things it has.
Yep. But Comcast always does also have an online division.
And an internet. Yes, they are an ISP.
So, yes.
So that is something that really just it's an interesting step in a direction for the cable company to say we still have a foothold in this, because you, Apple, do not have the broadcast network, the cable networks. You don't have this. And now we can give you this as part of your box setup. But Comcast has some of the worst customer service in the entire country.
Yeah.
And Apple, on the other side, typically has somewhat decent customer service. Not great.
It used to be some of the best, and now it's kind of faded a little bit. But so what are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is that I'm just worried that this becomes an absolute monopoly of badness. Because if you got something that Comcast, I don't feel like Comcast has ever really cared about its consumer. And when you get to a company, I will admit that I own a lot of Apple products. I believe in the brand. I personally, as a consumer, am really worried that it will taint the service level and content that I would be interested in. And then what does it mean for me? If I ever wanted to get an Apple TV, I currently use a different ISP and a different cable provider. So I would have to get them in order to use that, which would send me somewhere else.
Yeah. And I really do think that there needs to be something in the books about these types of partnerships. Because you're saying that hardware, essentially what it is you're taking a content provider, Comcast, who provides content for pretty much everybody, or they are kind of the carrier, right?
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, let's team up with hardware. And so then all you need is the content providers, like the actual studios that are making this stuff, getting into the fray. And then you have a solid pipeline direct from the studio to your house.
Right.
Which seems like a really good idea. I mean, and for the user, for the end user, it's probably an okay experience.
Right.
It's probably a pretty good experience, actually. It's going to be pretty easy and hopefully fairly flawless. And especially if they, with the net neutrality law just kind of being gone now, they can shove this stuff to your house pretty quickly while denying other people their stuff. But that's the problem.
Yes.
So there, I really do think that legislators need to be aware of these types of things going on, and the FCC, even though it's not really their jurisdiction, which is probably part of the problem as well, is that there is no real jurisdiction for this. I think governmentally, there's no real like solid group of people that are looking at broadcast online.
No, not at all.
So it's so tough. I think legislation needs to be created somehow so that you don't get these types of partnerships, or at least you make them all inclusive somehow, or you kind of build on them a little bit. But yeah, it is a little worrying.
Yeah.
However, Comcast is my cable hookup right now, and I do own an Apple TV, so I'm fine. I'll be good. That's all I care about anyway.
Yeah,
it's just all about me. Scary stuff.
I don't know. This makes me very uncomfortable, especially because it feels like it's going to limit the options that people are going to get in order to purchase an Apple product.
That's what it's all about, though. Like we've been talking about the different apps that have been coming out. We've been talking about, so it's always about limiting choice to maximize profits for, and we're talking about for TV providers,
right?
Making sure that those guys get money, the TV providers get money, and this is another way that TV providers would get money.
Yes.
So
I don't like it though.
I don't like it either, but they're losing money on subscriptions, so they got to make it up somehow.
Yeah, and
this is one way to do it. I guess. I don't know, but we should probably move on.
All right.
And it's not like we weren't talking about cord cutting before, but now we're actually going to get into the section where we talk about cord cutting. Oops. What's happening in the cord cutting segment?
Well, not to be left out of the fray, Sony has decided to produce a TV show for the PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
So, Netflix, Amazon, they've been commissioning original series to go through their streaming services, and now Sony's doing the same. Mm-hmm. It's a show called Powers, based on the comic book of the same name, combining the genres of superhero fantasy, crime noir, and police procedural. And it is going to be available through the PlayStation Network. So you have to have a PlayStation in order to see this.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, if Sony's going to produce anything, you might as well just only have it on PlayStation. Give it the best possible chance to be watched by no one.
This messes me up. Exactly. That's it right there. I am not going to open up my PlayStation right now to think about watching a show that they've made. Now, I will say I've started to use my PlayStation more to watch Netflix and Amazon Prime because I have it that has the apps on it. Also has Redbox Instant on the PlayStation. What do I have? PlayStation 3? I have the PlayStation 3. So I think
I don't even know what I have. It's got numbers on it. It's a PlayStation, though. I know that much.
I don't have the new one.
Right.
But this is the only way that you can watch this show. And they're trying to compete with Xbox One being more of a TV base.
The Xbone.
Xbone, as you call it.
The Xbone.
Does everybody call it the Xbone?
No, Xbox doesn't.
I know.
They say Xbox One.
Xbox One.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, okay, they do have it right in terms of kind of appealing to the group that would own a PlayStation.
Right.
Comic book, superhero, crime noir.
I hope it's
that
cheap.
Kind of stuff.
I hope it's cheap to make.
Well, yeah, that's true. But Sony has more money than anybody, so
that's true. But
so they would be able to make that. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think about this?
Well, you know what's weird is that because we're watching Justified this month or this time around for the watch list. And so that has made me, and that's only available on Amazon Prime as far as I know. It might also be available on like Hulu Plus, but I don't know if they go back to season 1 on that. I know that Amazon Prime does. And with the Apple TV, like I was talking about earlier, they actually don't have Amazon Prime, or at least not that I'm aware of, as an app.
Nope.
So, but Xbox One does. They have all of them, actually. They have Hulu Plus, they have Amazon Prime, they have Netflix, which is great. And hopefully soon Comcast. No, I don't know. But
No.
but I get it. People are starting to use these consoles as a bigger picture entertainment device, which is great. And if they have a menu, and I don't know what their menu looks like for PlayStation, but if they have a menu that's similar to Xbox One, then at least they have a way to push it directly to people,
yes,
which is good. And
yes,
and PlayStation does have a lot of people that own the console, whether it's 3 or 4. So it could be a good thing. It's an interesting experiment. It'll be cool to see exactly how it turns out. But I really do hope that series is cheap to make. I really do hope that, at least.
You watch. It's going to be like the next biggest thing, and you're going to be like, they didn't make that one cheap, and that's good.
Well, when you're doing anything for the first time, have realistic expectations.
That's true.
If you're doing it for the very first time, if you're trying content creation for the first time, maybe you start a little low. Maybe you start a little on the lower end of things. Maybe you don't, just put everything into it. I know Sony makes a lot of stuff, but not for PlayStation.
Yeah, and you can't come out of the gates and be House of Cards. You can't.
No, even Netflix didn't do that. They went through Littlehammer and I think there was one before that. Even so, you gotta kind of have a test case, and this is hopefully a good test case for them.
Exactly. All right. So next, this one I think is gonna scare some people. Not you're gonna like run from your radio.
It's time for Very Scary, that TV show.
No, but it could be game changer time, and that's what this story is about. The news has started to cover a new application called Popcorn Time.
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn Time is, in its essence, a way to easily optimize torrented streams of TV and movies and pirate them to your computer without having to be in back channels.
What?
I know.
And it's easy?
Yes.
And it's awesome?
I don't know, because I haven't tried it. I don't know if I would ever try it.
What?
I know. So the basics behind it is that there was a pair of developers had created this application called Popcorn Time. Mm-hmm. It came on the scene. Everybody went nuts over it. It's been around for actually quite some time, but it really started to pick up steam in the last few weeks. Okay. The founders decided to close it down, and they said, we're gonna go on. Well, that's not gonna last for very long. So now there is a new version that has hit the web. It's exactly the same. You can watch shows like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, The Wire. You can watch like Frozen, which just came out, Wolf of Wall Street.
But it's in a little tiny window. It's only a little tiny window, and you can't see anything, right? So just like this little. No.
You're watching that whole thing, and you're
like full HD.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Right. So it's bringing torrenting out into the front lines. Now it's only right now seeming to be available to watch on your computer, but it's not going to be very long before it switches into mobile devices. And like I said, this is scaring a lot of people because this is bringing piracy to the forefront. And Pat and I don't advocate for anything related to torrenting. We're talking about it related to the news.
Yeah.
But it is,
yeah.
I am very, very interested to see where this goes and how quickly the executives at the entertainment hubs and networks and movies and all of that are going to work to shut this down.
Yeah, this is always a tricky thing for me because being a content creator myself, it's like I write stuff, I write music, I write, I've written short films and little shows like that, and torrenting is kind of one of those things that kind of touches a nerve on me.
Oh, it sure does.
And as a content provider or as a content creator, it really does kind of mean the world to you if you cannot make money off of something that you've created. And so this is just yet another way that other people won't be able to make money off of stuff that they've done, which I don't know. I just get so angry about it sometimes. When I really stop to think about torrenting and stuff, I mean, I really get frustrated. It's not cool. It's not cool for me.
No, it's not.
And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but it's free and it's so easy and especially with Popcorn Time, oh, it's so easy and it looks beautiful and it's like, oh, it's full 1080p and it's just stop it.
Yeah. I the one thing about it that worries me more, I guess for my own protection, is that you just don't know where you're being taken to get that content. Sure. So you're putting your own systems at risk.
There's that too.
That's one thing. Yeah. The other thing is exactly what you said, is that if there are quality products being made, quality movies, TV, songs, whatever it is that the content creators are making, that you're taking from them the opportunity to earn money off of it.
Right.
I do not support that. I try to buy local. I try to do things that support people who create things. So, but what I don't like is things that HBO does, where we would pay money to see their stuff on an app that they have. But because they won't allow me to even pay them to watch something, I can't. I would have to go through back channel ways to get it. And that's
the other thing. I mean, it's definitely a two-way street. And I get it, but it's just, oh man, everything. Yes, if you like quality stuff, please feel free to pay for it.
Yes.
Feel free to pay for quality stuff. That will ensure that the creators may create something new for you that will also be of that same quality.
Yeah. And I don't appreciate that people around me do this all the time. They torrent movies that are currently in the theaters, and it's like, I'm going to watch it at home because I can. Yeah. And I just feel like it's this underground feeling of like, we're sticking it to the man. We're bucking the system. We're all technically savvy and can grab that movie that was filmed from some guy with a camcorder sitting in the theater. But man, I got to see Frozen when it first came out in the theaters, and I watched it on my computer.
Yep.
I don't know. So Popcorn Time is really starting this, I guess, eruption of questioning about, are you someone who chooses to do this, or are you someone who doesn't? Do you feel like there's going to be a dividing line of people who are just going to draw it in the sand?
Here's what I want. I know that they can't actually do anything about Popcorn Time as an application because it doesn't actually house any of the content, right? So it doesn't house any of the content. It just moves content from one place to the actual user, right?
Right.
So instead of going and busting the place that's housing the material on hand, I think they should just go to the user and say, we're taking your computer away. That's what I would really like. We're taking him away because you have Popcorn Time on there. You jerk, you're stealing stuff. Get out of here. You may not be the guy who recorded it, but you're the one who's using it. So you're taking your computer. It'd be the entire oh God. Now I've just lost everything. The whole Napster thing all over again, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Remember when they were busting kids and for stealing MP3s, and then they were just removing their computers from their houses? Let's do that again. Let's do that again. Because it worked out so well last time.
Yeah, I don't think so. But, keep your eyes out, guys, because this is not going to go away. And if anything, it's probably going to get more and more sticky in here because there's popcorn on the floor. Everything. No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
That was no.
All right.
That was all sorts of no. Speaking of all sorts of no, let's head into the poop. There we go. Okay. So what is in the poop this week, Jules?
So MTV has decided to take the reins of The Bachelor, that kind of bachelor-y franchise where you're trying to find love on television and twist it in a different way.
Trying to find love on TV.
Yes. Trying to find love on TV is always the popular. I don't watch The Bachelor.
It's worked so well.
I don't watch The Bachelor just for this reason because it's so fake. So, but MTV decided to do something that makes it a part dating show and a part social experiment. It's called Are You the One? And it is a game show like The Bachelor where you're trying to get couples to find they're the ones. But there's a twist to this one. It's 20 attractive singles, so 10 guys, 10 girls. They are asked to work together to find the perfect matches among them as based on the matchmaking process that they have done for the show.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently in this group, there are perfect matches for each of the 10 genders, all 20 people.
Yes.
So I don't know why I said
there's
it like that.
There's a perfect match for each gentleman and for each lady.
Yes.
Because, that makes sense.
So, you know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of one of those slide puzzles when you were a kid, where you're like, okay, so now this one has to slide to this side, and we have to shift this one from one end of the board to the other by switching them around in like a square dance format.
Right. Well, you know what this reminds me of? Actually, it's there's a game called Mastermind. Do you remember this game? You have a little, like, one person will be the person that comes up with the puzzle.
Okay.
And then the other one will try to solve it, and basically it's a ask 20 questions type of format, right? So, but you have like 4 or 5 different spots where you can put colored pegs, and you have like 4 colors to choose from.
Okay.
And so you can put them in any order, and then it's all blind, so the person can't see it, and then they will try to guess what the colors are, what the combination is. It's kind of like that to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of blind luck.
Yeah. Have you seen this show?
No, I have not seen the show. Apparently, it got picked up already for a second season.
Yeah, I've seen the show.
Oh, you have?
I saw the show. I don't feel good about it, but I saw the show.
You are holding out on us. You did not tell me this.
I saw the show. Well, what am I going to do? Am I going to admit to watching this show?
Yeah, because you're on a TV podcast.
I am not going to admit watching this show, but I watched the show.
You just
now
did.
But now it's relevant. Before I was like, oh my God, why is Pat watching this show? Now it's relevant. Now I can break it out and say, I've seen the show. But I saw it like a month ago or something like that. I was just kind of screwing around, flipping between all the different channels, and I picked it up. I saw it.
Tell me about this.
I saw it, and it was weird. It's every single reality show, lovey-dovey type of couples thing, right? They're all kind of clinging to each other, thinking that this person is the one for them.
Oh my God.
And then
completely messed my brain up.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is through the process of each episode, right? They have claimed somebody as their own, or somebody that they think is compatible with them, and they try to get to know them, and they try to, or maybe not. Maybe they think that they're not a match at all, but they are forced into a couple activities.
Yeah.
So everybody makes their choice, or like they'll have one gender make their choice. So it'll be the ladies this week, the guys next week, or something like that. And so they'll go through and they'll do the process of elimination. And if the couples really don't think that they get along, then they'll mix it up again, and then they'll see what's going on. And it really is dramatic, because over the course of one show, you have these guys forming bonds.
Yeah.
And that's not science. They have these scientific models that say, oh, these are your perfect matches. But when you get them into a social situation and, serendipity takes over and all these other things, you get the emotional ties going into it, but the scientists are telling you no. So it's weird.
Yeah, so they're talking about...
There's like upheaval every week because let's say that you have all 10 couples and nobody is the perfect match. And then they're like, Well, hell, I just spent all week getting to know, Senor Douchebag over here, but now he's not my perfect match.
Well,
I'm not
I would
saying
have
that
to
Senor
say-
Douchebag was actually on the show. I'm not sure if he
Well, I
wasn't.
don't know. I mean, you get to know Senior Douchebag and you realize he's Senior Douchebag. I'm not thinking that you're going to be like, he's my perfect match. I'm just saying.
Even Senor Douchebag has a perfect match. That's what I'm going to say about that.
And you're, douchebag. Nice. Very nice. Classy, Pat.
Yep. On that show he does, because everybody's been matched perfectly on MT with the aid of the MTV scientists, which I'm kind of struggling with.
This actually I just found out about this today. I had not heard about this, but apparently it's been airing for a while.
Yeah.
I'm kind of fascinated, to be honest, because these matchmaking, whatever guides, questionnaire, or whatever they do, does not take into account just plain raw chemistry.
Yeah.
So you may not be the perfect match for each
That's
other,
weird.
but you may be hot for each other.
That's weird that science doesn't take into account chemistry. That landed hard on the ground. Landed real hard.
You know what? We both had clunkers tonight. It's now now
okay.
even.
It's okay. No, it's not a bad show. It's interesting. I'm not going to say that I will watch it regularly or again. I've seen it once. I saw kind of how it played out. I'm not a big fan of the romance reality show.
Yeah.
Because it's too insane for me.
Yeah.
Especially when you have 10 people. 20 people. 10 women. It's not good. Even the women will agree with me. That is not good. You agree with me, right?
I do.
That is not good.
I don't watch The Bachelor for this precise reason, because I do not want to see 20 women fighting for one man. That is not.
But now at least it's even. It's 10 women fighting for over 10 men.
I don't care though, because they're still gonna be like, no, honey, he's mine.
Yeah.
Even though Senor Douchebag is the guy that I'm supposed to be with.
Well, he has a perfect match. He has one perfect match. I don't know what her name is, but
Senorita Jerkface.
there you go.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
Should we get into the watch list?
Let's do it, please.
The watch list. This is the part of the show where we take a look at shows. And we take a look at shows that may be new, they may be old, but we go back to season 1, episode 1. And we take a look and we kind of go through the first season and we check out the series and we give you our opinion and tell you what's kind of going on with it anyway.
Yeah.
Try to. At least a little bit. Give you the flavor of it. And this time is no different. We're actually starting up a new series, and we hope that you can join us as we watch what, Jules?
We are watching Justified. People have been telling us to watch this show for so long.
I
So
know.
we are finally watching it on Amazon Prime streaming, which is how we can get it.
Yes.
The general synopsis, it is a U.S. Marshal named Raylan Givens. He is in Florida. He faces off against some drug dealing kind of people.
Senor Douchebag, I think, was in the show.
Senor Douchebag is.
He was in the show.
That could be really appropriate for that show. He winds up getting into a shootout, and they reassign him back to his hometown of Harlan, Kentucky, where he is now going to be a U.S. Marshal in a 21st century Wild West style show.
Right. But,
That's
that shooting in Miami?
Mhm.
Justified.
Yes.
It was justified.
Yeah.
It was just. We heard this 3 or 4 times during the first show, during the first episode of this series. Justified. It was justified. The shooting? Oh, yeah, it was justified.
It was justified.
It was justified.
And I know you were worried, right?
Well, the thing is with title lines that show the title of the series.
Yeah.
It's what I call hence the title lines. That's what anytime that somebody says, "Oh, Bewitched," hence the title. Okay, cool. And we had 3 or 4 of those hence the title moments in the very first show, and I'm like, okay, are we going to get 3 or 4 every single show? Or second episode, we did not get any. So
Nope.
I was pleasantly surprised. Too many in the first episode.
Well, and it was definitely, you could feel it was very pilot-y. They were trying to get everybody established and who's what and where, and you've got a location change within the first 10 minutes of the show, 5 minutes of the show, and having to establish hometown Kentucky.
Yep. And Tim does a good job. Tim Oliphant. He does a good job at playing a badass. He really does.
He does. What I thought was really cool about him is that he is sexy without being overtly like macho sexy.
He's the quiet, angry guy.
Yeah, but they talk about in the show, his ex-wife tells him at the end of the first episode that he is the most angry man she has ever known.
And then he turned green and started smashing crap.
It's appropriate that you're wearing an Incredible Hulk t-shirt.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was incredibly the right choice. Incredibly so.
So. And so it wound up to me feeling a little bit disjointed because in most of the show, he was kind of like the calm, cool, not going to be rattled by a gun to the face or being threatened with death or anything.
Yeah, but Jules, he's always angry. He's always angry.
Doesn't show.
And then he turns green. That's it. It's just an Incredible Hulk thing.
So basically, Raylan Givens is the Incredible Hulk waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that happens like season 4. This is a show that's still going on too, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
this
it is.
It's on FX right now. You can pick up I think they're in season 5. And so you can watch him jumping around the globe, really high heights in his green form, in his monster form, smashing crap.
And his cowboy hat.
And a cowboy hat. The cowboy hat goes with him.
The
Gotta
one
have
thing I will say, though, and this is what it concerned me, is that if I had just watched this show for the first time with the pilot and that was the only show I ever saw of it, I really don't know how long I would have stuck with it. But you guys have raved about the show. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. And so, obviously we're going to stick around with it. But the first episode wasn't that interesting to me.
I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good, and it was a good, character introduction and stuff like that. By the way, Arcane in the chat rooms said, "My choice of shirt, justified."
So true.
Justified.
Well played, Arcane.
So, thank you for that. I thought that was really hilarious. Anyway, I thought it was a good intro to all the characters. You get to see, Timothy Oliphant being really. He is the calm, but you can tell that there's a storm inside him.
Yeah, there's a lot going on inside that head, but he's very subtle about it.
Right. And he doesn't say much, and, he kind of lets everybody else kind of talk around him, which is also a very cool feature of his personality. So,
yeah.
I thought that he was a really good, mysterious character that we'll be seeing more of, through the seasons. And it's and I think that's part of the popularity of it. And in the second one, we start to see a little bit more, but it's still very, very fresh. And I think that, we're still seeing the characters kind of come through. Any other characters stick out for you, Jules?
Well, you've got Boyd, his old friend,
and current bad guy,
who has now gone from super white supremacist to born again Christian and found Jesus within 2 episodes.
Well,
and you're wondering.
He's a born again Christian, but they go through a whole thing where he's like, you know what? I think you're using the born again Christian thing as a way to do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
So.
And I found it'll be interesting to see where this goes and if he's just using this as a play to begin, to switch his extremist personality, because he definitely has one. But I found that he and they insert, of course, the woman who is going to try to seduce Raylan, who happens to be the estranged wife of Boyd's now deceased brother, who she just killed.
Right.
And the casual nature of the fact that she walked up to her husband, who was abusive and obnoxious to her, and abused her physically and emotionally, and shot him with a shotgun, and she's still walking around free, is really kind of weird.
Yep. Well, there's all sorts of weird things that's happening in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
I've never been to Kentucky. I've been to areas around Kentucky, but not the actual state. But
Okay.
I think that itself is going to be a major character in this show. And that's what I find interesting is, think like when we watched Lillehammer and we talked about the whole setting of Norway being so much of a character in the whole show. This is going to be the same kind of thing where Kentucky is going to be as much of a character as the actual people.
Yes, it will be. And so will all the weird things that happen to it. And that brings us into our very first quiz for this particular series.
We have a quiz?
We have a quiz.
Yay.
And I don't know what it's called yet. Oh, okay, we'll just go with the title here. It is Dumb Kentucky Laws Quiz. It's Dumb Kentucky Laws, and it's the quiz of Dumb Kentucky Laws.
These are going to be real things?
Yes, and this is from realstrangelaws.com.
Oh my gosh, okay.
All cited laws are real and currently in effect and have been verified for authenticity by practicing attorney, some guy, the world's leading authority on strange laws.
This guy's name is some guy.
Nathan Belofsky, Esquire. He has an Esquire at the end of his name, so I'm guessing that it's all true.
He's official then.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, what the weird law is or whatever, and then I'll give you a blank. It's just a fill in the blank type of thing. Just give me your best.
I have to make it up?
Yeah. I mean, you've played these types of games before, I'm guessing.
I have. This will be fun.
So here we go. And you guys at home, please play along. All right. In the state of Kentucky, all new lawyers must swear an oath to refrain from blank. All new lawyers must swear an oath to refrain from blank.
Refrain from, oh gosh, a lawyer?
All new lawyers must swear an oath to refrain from.
How about lying?
No, of course they can lie. They're lawyers. They're liars, lawyers. Oh, sorry. No, they have to swear an oath to refrain from dueling.
What?
From dueling. No dueling. All right.
There was like zero chance in hell that I was going to get that right, Matt.
Right. All right. In Kentucky, it's illegal to handle what during church services?
Illegal to handle what during church services?
Yes. During church.
How about pickaxes?
Well, I'm guessing that's probably true, but not in this case. It's not a part of the law. It is actually reptiles. No reptiles.
I was going to say that. I was going to actually say snakes.
Yeah. Snakes on a pew. No snakes on a pew.
No snakes on a pew. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Another good one here. Oh, man. Okay. In Kentucky, a person cannot dye. This is D-Y-E, so, color.
Color.
Blank. And it's nouns.
Okay. They can't color horses.
Think smaller. I'll give you another shot at this.
Think smaller. Okay. They can't dye their bed sheets.
No, of course they can. They cannot dye ducklings, baby chicks, or bunnies.
What?
They cannot dye ducklings, baby chicks, or bunnies. This is not me. This is the weird laws. All right.
Wow.
In Kentucky, it's a crime to sell what on Election Day? It's a crime to sell what on Election Day?
Lottery tickets.
No, it's booze. No booze.
Really?
You can't be no drinking and voting.
Going back to the whole like bunnies and chicks and stuff that you can't die, they put this law into effect because somebody must have done that.
I guess.
Like what? Anyway, like small,
I guess.
Anyway, I'm stuck. Okay.
All
move
right.
on.
Let's see. Okay. In Kentucky, I know that this is going to be kind of vague, but think this has got to be weird, right? So this has got to be a weird law.
Okay.
In Kentucky, it's illegal to shoot what? It's got to be at least a little bit. It's got to be at least a little bit weird.
Okay. It's illegal to shoot like
a little bit weird, not like greatly weird, but it's still.
I'm stuck on whether
thing.
or not you're talking about the physical action of shooting and what that would mean, or if it's the actual.
Illegal to shoot. It's illegal to shoot what?
Okay, so like a thing to be shot.
Right.
It is illegal to shoot. Foliage.
Well, no, probably not. No, it's illegal to shoot a fish. Why they need this in the books, I don't know why people are shooting fish all the time.
Because of the barrel and the fish and
Right.
There would be no barreling in the fish.
There are some other good ones here, and I'm just going to read off a couple here because you clearly have lost the game.
I am terrible.
In Kentucky, using explosives to hunt is a crime. Let's see. In Kentucky, it's a crime to sleep in a food establishment, in a restaurant. You
can't sleep. Okay, yeah.
You can't sleep in a restaurant.
Okay.
Nope. Sorry. Nodding off in McDonald's. Sorry, you're going to the Pokey. I don't know.
Calls it the Pokey.
They do in Kentucky. Actually, I don't know if they do.
I don't either.
All right. And in Kentucky, it's also illegal to break into a cave.
What? What?
Right. Exactly. That is right. That is the right answer to give to that one. And for that, you are a big wiener on today's show. Congratulations. So how many of these shows are we going to be watching for next week? How many Justifieds are we going to be watching?
Let's see. Let's do 3.
All right, let's try for 3.
Okay.
Let's do 3. That sounds good.
All right, we'll do 3.
All right. But for now, it's time to get the heck out of here.
All right.
It's time to get the heck out of Dodge, so to speak. Is it illegal to get the heck out of Dodge?
Is it? It might be
Kentucky?
to get out of the cave.
Maybe. Maybe. Oh, it's illegal for a driver to coast down a hill.
What?
It's illegal for a driver to coast down a hill.
That's dumb.
I don't know. I don't make this crap up. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And if you want to get a hold of us for any particular reason, you can do so real easy. Just email us at thattvshow@gmail.com. Get a hold of us on Twitter at thattvshow or individually. Isn't that right, Jules?
That is right. You can find Pat on Twitter at Pat Crane with a K, and you can find me, Jules, at Jules RPG.
And thank you for putting up with my speech impediment tonight. I don't know what's going on. I can't speak to save my life.
Yeah, that's
Blah, blah,
okay though.
Blah, blah, blah.
It's
It's just one of those nights. All right. And please check out thattvshow.net, where we have links to our forums and our friends over at the Signals Media All-Star Network, signalsmedia.com. Lots of other great shows for your ear holes. And hopefully none with people that were stuttering as badly as I was tonight for some reason. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Jules.
Thank you, Pat. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, on our next show. Next week. Regular time, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Central. Uploaded by Wednesday at some point. For Jules Scott, my name is Pat Crane. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
Really?
Really?